Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. There's different YouTube changes that's happening, so sometimes you guys are going to have to be patient with me as the changes occur. Um, just now, it almost looks like I invited guests. I did not. So then I was kind of hesitant whether I should hit the button or not. So it worked itself out. So thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21, where we talk hot topics, trending topics. We get into what's going on in the news. Out. Allow me a few moments to get into my system to talk about what's trending. We're going to go ahead, give me a few, do my disclaimer, and then I'm going to get into what's being talked about. If you guys did not know, there is currently a hearing going on for Diddy right and many people are talking about the hearing. I watched it this morning. He's at the hearing. It was kind of light yesterday, more media there today, and we're going to get into what that means in regards to him having that hearing. Diddy's team is keeping this judge busy. That's all I can say. And we're going to keeping the judge busy. So he's looking either for acquittal, new trial, and then you got to remember the sentencing is supposed to be next month. So, welcome to the judge. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. So we're going to get to what the news is speaking regarding Diddy, and then we might do hot topics, trending topics, or we might just call Diddy, and so people know what's going on, what's to be expected, um, and are they going to press the judge or they make him upset? We don't know, but his attorney is doing everything they can to try and get things taken care of. So let's.
Will be back in court for a pre-sentencing hearing. Proceedings will focus on several post motions, including one that could release the music mogul. Almost happening today, Sean Diddy Collins will be back in pre-sentencing hearing. Proceedings will focus on several post-trial motions, including one that could release the music mogul almost immediately.
Aziza Schuler is live outside the courthouse in Manhattan with more on what we can expect. Aziza.
Good morning, Chris and Cindy. This morning's hearing will give Holmes's lawyers as well as the prosecutors a chance to weigh in on several questions that the judge will take into consideration when sentencing. That includes whether or not Holmes's filming of sexual encounters First Amendment issues. The court also requested case law on how the Mann Act applies. That is a federal law that makes it a crime to transport someone across state lines for illegal sexual activity like prostitution. The 55-year-old music mogul was convicted in July of 2 counts related to prostitution after a federal jury found he arranged interstate travel for sex workers. He acquitted of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Holmes's lawyers argued this week that he should be sentenced to no more than 14 months in prison. That would likely result in his immediate release with credit for good behavior. Prosecutors counter that Combs deserves several more years behind bars. Meanwhile, a former stylist filed a 37-page lawsuit in Los Angeles yesterday against Combs and Bad Boy Entertainment. Deontay Nash alleges he was sexually assaulted by Combs while employed by him from 2008 to 2018. Combs' attorney did not respond to our request for comment, and this morning's hearing get underway at 11 a.m. His official sentencing is October 3rd in Lower Manhattan.
So his official sentencing is October 3rd. So we're going to see what happens. The judge is doing everything he can to make sure during the court case there was no mistrial. The judge is doing everything he can to even try to be fair, try to be very fair with the attorneys. Remember how they had said he has to stop at the jury and making little facial expressions. And he said if it continues, it's going to be a problem, which it wasn't.
Back in court today in an effort to have his Sean Diddy Combs back in court today in an effort to have his guilty verdict thrown out. Combs is sentencing next month for his conviction on prostitution charges. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman has been following the case and has more from the outside of the courthouse in New York City.
Sean Combs is back in court for the first time since the day of his verdict. Now, Sean Combs ended up being convicted of 2 charges. Those were transportation for the purpose of prostitution charges. He was let off on the more severe charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. But even with the charges, Combs' attorneys have been arguing that those convictions should be thrown out, that there should be a new trial if the judge is not willing to do that. This is a hearing trial motions. The judge is listening to arguments from the parties on these issues. What Combs' attorneys say is that this is an unprecedented use of the Mann Act, the federal law that makes it illegal to deport people across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. They say that these were consenting adults having sex and that this Mann Act has never been used in this way for conviction. Now, if the judge won't throw out the convictions, they say that a new trial is necessary because of severe spillover prejudice from reams of inflammatory evidence that was related to those other charges that Combs was ultimately not found guilty on. There is a very high bar for throwing a jury verdict, so we will see what the judge ends up deciding today, and we will keep you.
So we'll definitely see what the judge is going to decide. Let's get into more information.
Like the mother of Sean Diddy Combs, citing her son's terrible mistakes ahead of his prison sentence hearing in the aftermath of convictions surrounding prostitution. Janice Combs collaborated with her son's defense team in a letter of support, hoping the judge hands down a sentence of time served. In the court docs obtained by NBC News, Janice saying Diddy, quote, has made some terrible mistakes in his life. I know he recognizes. The media mogul's soon-to-be 85-year-old mother referencing her age following Diddy's year in prison and amid the prospect of more time behind bars. Separation for the past year while Sean has been incarcerated has been excruciatingly difficult and painful for me and his children. I would like to spend the last few years of my life with my son. The mother's message made public just days before Diddy hears his fate on October 3rd. In a cell inside the Metropolitan Detention Center following his duo convictions in July, with the rapper also acquitted of far more serious charges surrounding sex trafficking and racketeering, all of which Diddy's denied.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe. Continue to hit the thumbs up, you guys. Let me know what you think is going to happen in regards to Diddy's trial, in regards to this hearing. What will the judge decide? We're going to get into
prostitution-related charges. Our defense attorneys are urging for release as they got some famous names to write
Let's
letters
continue.
of support for the Bad Boy Records founder. We're breaking down.
Let's continue fair use reaction clip. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, Paris? I hope all is well. It's been a very, very, very busy morning. Yesterday, the battery went out. I knew you were like, the only person that knows when I exit is you, but I was like, I'm not on. I was over it. I had a busy day yesterday. I have a busy day today, so I had to come live. I might go live later, maybe. Because the hearing, I think, started at 11 and it's now 12 something, 12:01. So if I can, yeah. And I should have, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. And yeah, it allows me to end it or continue. I was like, I'm over it. I'm done. So what I thought was fully charged up to 50, 60, 70 wasn't. And I was charging stuff. So, but it was a good live. It had decent numbers. You always about to end. Other people may not know, but I was like, dang, I hate that Paris probably won't know. But that happens almost once a month because there's so many things I have to plug up, blah, blah, blah. Now think that and then it might be reduced, even though such things aren't bad. Saver, but here nor there. Let's continue with Diddy. I hope all is well. Yeah, I almost. Yeah. But one I thought was, and it did. So, new cord, but it happens. If I hit or nick something a certain way, it becomes unplugged and I won't know. So, I'm a busy girl, but it's all good. The live was what it was living. And I think at that end, about Kamala Harris wanting to run, not run. And if she would have campaign money, that's kind of where I ended. See how I can remember what I was talking about? So yeah, all is well though. All is well. Yeah, all is well. The main ones are, so yeah, but yeah. Let's continue with Diddy and his hearing. What will the judge do? What will the judge decide? We may not know, because even though the judge may want to hear everything that the attorneys have to say, it does not mean that the judge may make a decision today. He could though. So yeah, we'll see what the judge decides. want to update for everyone in regards to Diddy. People made statements on his behalf, one being his children, one being his mother, being Stevie J, I believe. Young Miami wrote a statement. So many people have wrote a statement prior to this hearing. So we're going to hear an update on what's going on. Let's continue fair use reaction clip. Yes, y'all got to talk to my girl. Always do and always will. Let's continue fair use reaction clip.
Who's still on Diddy's side even after he was acquitted on the more serious charges of racketeering and conspiracy and sex trafficking. Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. Diddy's lawyers wrote in a recent court filing, the client has been punished enough, but will the judge agree next week when he officially sentences the mogul? Or will that even matter, as there still could be a possibility he could get a new trial? It's officially been more than a year. Diddy Combs has been locked up in a federal detention center in Brooklyn, New York. Ahead of his trial, his lawyers pushed for pre-trial release, and that was denied after every request, even after he was only convicted on the Mann Act charges or transferred to engage in prostitution, as Diddy's lawyers chalk up those charges to an alternative or style. But the judge still kept the mogul behind bars pending the outcome of his sentencing. In his ruling, Rune Submarinian wrote, while Combs may contend at sentencing that this evidence should be discounted and that what happened was nothing more than a case of willing swingers utilizing the voluntary services of escorts for pleasure, the government takes the opposite view, that Cassie Ventura and Jane were beaten, coerced, lied to, and victimized by Combs as a part of their participation in these events. The trial had bombshell testimony seemingly every single day of trial. However, he was still acquitted on 3 of his 5 federal charges. However, that didn't mean his Hollywood peers publicly welcomed him back with open arms. There are some, though, who are supporting him ahead of his sentencing, like his former girlfriend, Carisha Brownlee, better known as Young Miami. She wrote in part, quote, "My name is Carisha Brownlee. I'm a mother, daughter, sister, a hip-hop artist who has spent many years in the public eye. I want to be clear that I cannot speak on or defend anything that may have happened before I met Sean Combs. I do not condone any wrongdoing. I can only speak from my personal experience and the man I've come to know over the past 4 years. One of my most meaningful memories took me to my first Met Gala. It wasn't just about the event, it was about what it represented. Sean has always been a priority to open doors for Black people to make sure we are seen, heard, and valued in spaces where we've historically been excluded. That night reminded me that we belong in every room, at every table, conversation. He's constantly encouraged me and so many others to dream bigger, walk in confidence, and shrink who we are to make others comfortable. I've also witnessed him doing real inner work. He made the choice to check himself into anger management, start therapy, and commit to physical healing through therapy. That takes humility and self-awareness. He didn't do it for show. He did it because he wanted to grow and to become a better person. In my personal experience, Sean is not a danger or threat to the community. He is a man of God, someone who uplifts, supports, and inspires those around him to be better mentally, physically, and spiritually. But more than anything, his father and his kids are the ones who look up to him the most. They need him. His presence, love, and guidance matter deeply in their lives. I truly believe that he belongs at home with his family, the people who mean the most to him, and who continue to be his greatest source of purpose and strength. Judge, that's a good man. Music producer Dallas wrote in part, as I have become.
So that was Young Miami saying he's a good man. Let's continue. I'm wondering if Dallas Austin made a statement. Let's continue. This will be the first that I'm hearing about Dallas Austin. Let's continue fair use reaction clip.
To know Sean over the years, he has become to me. I have always seen him as a man of unwavering dedication to his loved ones, his family, especially his children. He is a devoted father whose family always comes first, and the balance he maintains between his personal and professional life is both inspiring and admirable. Former Love and Hip Hop star and music producer aka Stevie J wrote in part, being in this entertainment business for 30 years and being friends with Sean, we've both had personal challenges with anger and drugs, as I've been going to therapy and taking all the necessary precautions never to look back at addiction again.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Let's continue. So Young Miami spoke out, Dallas Austin and Stevie J wrote letters. Let's continue, and the mother and the children. Let's continue.
Necessary precautions never to look back at addiction again. I'm proud of Sean. I'm very impressed that he's clean and sober and also taking anger management therapy to become a better person, because we all fall short as long as we correct ourselves and never revert to our old ways. Now that's just scratching the surface. That submitted more than 65 letters of support in favor of Combs to the judge. There are also letters from each of his children, with the exception of his daughter, who's a toddler.
Yes, I agree. See how those letters came in? I'm wondering if the other people should have wrote letters in. Judge, we hear that there's a current hearing coming up. Please understand, so now they're putting these good letters in front of the judge to try and change the narrative. But everyone has a right to speak. So let's continue fair use clip. It's to change the narrative of what people thought of during the trial and after the trial and before his sentencing. Let's continue. Yeah, people wrote letters.
However, his youngest daughter's mother, Tana Tran, wrote a letter of support. So did his mom, his the mother of his daughter Chance, too. So will the judge side with the very man whose motto was once bad boy for life come sentencing? Well, his defense team sent the judge nearly 200 pages of reasons why he should have bars. Some of the reasons include the jury, which, if you remember, some jurors made headlines themselves in the course of the trial and even after. For example, juror number 6, who was dismissed from the case after prosecutors were concerned he made inconsistent statements during the jury selection process about where he lived. Then another experienced health issues, putting a halt on the trial for a day after he experienced vertigo on the way to court. And there was the alternate juror, who didn't deliberate, but still told CNN he would have came to the same conclusion. Even though the juror, who only went publicly by the name George, didn't go into the deliberation room, he still every single day of trial, even being one of the few people in the entire world to see the freak-off tapes.
Hello.
CNN's Laura Coast, the sex tapes weren't as graphic as expected, saying it was pretty tame. It was a lot of rubbing oil and stuff. It wasn't anything too graphic. The jury was obviously pretty important in the outcome in this case, notably that the jurors who did deliberate didn't convict him of RICO conspiracy and sex. Now, the defense is hoping to use that in their favor. In the filing, Diddy's defense team wrote, the jury rejected the government's theory that Miss Ventura and Jane were victims of sex trafficking. There was overwhelming evidence which credited that Miss Ventura and Jane were enthusiastic and voluntary participants in the sexual activity underlying the case. Hey, by the way, there's a reason Law and Crime is the go-to spot for legal and true crime content on YouTube.
That's true. They're about to do their commercial. Hold on. Like the videos, you guys. Their use reaction clip.
Below or scanning the QR code on your screen. Anyways, a sex and rock and roll story.
Let's continue. 1 second. Like the video. Yeah, he's definitely trying to get out, and I don't know if the other side should have had more people write letters. You know what I mean? Those letters were written 2 months ago. Now what's in the forefront are the letters speaking on his behalf. But some of the alleged victims' letters were 2 months ago. So I get it, but should the other side have did more letters in regards to their concerns? Like the video, fair use, reaction clip.
Attorneys argue Diddy and his girlfriend, specifically Cassie and Jane Doe, were all adults when they participated in the Wild King nights or hotel nights or freak-offs. The defense says Combs had serious relationships with those women and were in consensual sexual experiences with adult third parties.
So I asked you, did the jury do right? Is this a concern because the jurors only decided on 2 things of guilty? If there were other things, he'd be fighting that too. We get it. He's going to try and fight for his life because he do by his kids and his mother, but we can't forget what was said, what was done. Rubbing juices on what? You know what I'm saying? So should the feds have realized if it's only those 2 counts, how the counts were written? So me and my friend saying, why are the jurors silent? Are the jurors working on books? And that's why they're silent. They're focusing on that. Or will the jurors speak up after the sentencing? Or are the jurors like MIA concerned? Hello, why are the jurors quiet? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Argue he didn't profit in any way of these hotel nights or freak-offs.
Yes, hit the like.
Typically would. On his trial, drugs were brought up ad nauseum, and this recent court filing was no exception. Diddy's lawyers claimed drugs and a high-profile celebrity lifestyle played a role in his conduct. They wrote, without minimizing Mr. Combs' conduct, this is in many ways a sex, drugs, and rock and roll story. Mr. Combs had severe substance abuse problems the entirety of the offense conduct and participated in a high-octane celebrity lifestyle. So did Ms. Ventura, independently and not because of Mr. Combs.
There's about 118 in the building. Please hit the subscribe button, you guys. Please hit the subscribe button. Let's continue.
For Jane, she willingly took ecstasy and other drugs with Mr. Combs, which became a part of their relationship. Now, during trial, the defense seemingly implied what happened in 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel was due to a bad batch of drugs. But in this new filing, Diddy's defense team says that the Intercontinental Hotel meeting of Cassie was a rare time where Combs committed acts of violence during his relationship with Cassie. This despite Cassie herself testifying she couldn't recall how many beatings there were because there were so many. In this recent filing, though, the defense wrote, the violence was not entirely one-sided. However, Ms. Ventura testified there were times when she initiated fights with Mr. Combs. On one occasion, for example, she punched Mr. Combs in the face. Mr. Combs, for his is the first to exclaim that these acts of domestic violence against Ms. Ventura are inexcusable.
Now, let me go back, because guess what? This is Diddy's defense team reading the information against Cassie. I'm rewinding that a little bit. We need to listen. This is Diddy's team, defense team, talking about Cassie. They want to focus on Cassie. Cassie's not in jail. Some will question, but Cassie's not in jail. So they're trying to play on Cassie did stuff. Let's go back. Fair use reaction clip.
Sensual sexual experiences with adult third parties. He didn't profit in any way of these hotel nights or freak-offs like a Mann Act defendant typically would. On his trial, drugs were brought up ad nauseum, and this recent court filing was no exception. Diddy's lawyers claim drugs and a high-profile celebrity lifestyle played a role in his conduct. They wrote, without minimizing Mr. Combs' this is in many ways a sex, drugs, and rock and roll story. Mr. Combs had severe substance abuse problems the entirety of the offense conduct and participated in a high-octane celebrity lifestyle. So did Ms. Ventura, independently and not because of Mr. Combs. As for Jane, she willingly took ecstasy and other Mr. Combs, which became a part of their relationship. Now, during trial, the defense seemingly implied what happened in 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel was due to a bad batch of drugs. But in this new filing, Diddy's defense team says that the Intercontinental Hotel beating of Cassie was a rare time where Combs committed acts of violence during his relationship with Cassie. This despite Cassie herself testifying she couldn't recall how many beatings there were because there were so many. In this recent filing, though, the defense wrote, the violence was not entirely one-sided. However, Ms. Ventura testified there were times when she initiated physical fights with Mr. Combs. On one occasion, for example, she punched Mr. Combs in the face. Mr. Combs, for his part, is the first to exclaim that these acts of domestic violence against Ms. Ventura are inexcusable. But the notion that the violence or coercion had a nexus to freak-offs is not true, as the jury clearly found. Now, part of the reason the judge kept him behind bars pending sentencing was because he admitted to being physically violent with Jane as recently as June of 2024, 3 months before his arrest. Jane testified she started that physical altercation and admitted to throwing things at him, calling him a pedophile and a monster after punching him in the head. The defense wrote, by that point, Mr. Combs was intoxicated, as he had consumed multiple glasses of champagne and multiple shots of tequila. Again, Mr. Combs knows that partaking in any type of physical violence with a woman is inexcusable, but the jury rejected the argument that the violence caused Jane to participate in a hotel. Throughout the court filing, the mogul's defense team argues his conviction isn't like other Mann Act cases where the DOJ, for example, limits the prosecutions to cases involving sex trafficking minors or defendants who engage in commercial prostitution enterprises as panderers or call girl operations. They wrote, quote, in other words, only 1% of Mann Act cases we identified involved so-called buyers or johns. That number alone speaks volumes and corroborates the conclusion that the DOJ does not seek to incarcerate Mann Act defendants who merely prostitution services. During the trial, we learned through testimony what some of the male escorts or entertainers that were hired do during these freak-offs or hotel nights, and that was through the testimony of Daniel Phillips and Sheree Hayes, aka the Punisher. Diddy's defense argued this is the only case they've identified where prosecutors claim professional consenting adult males were Mann Act victims, writing, the government now claims that the male escorts were Mr. Combs' victims, but this is apparently the only case in Mann Act history where the government has argued that consenting professional adult male escorts or entertainers who made thousands of dollars were victims. The Mann Act did not originally treat men as victims, and Congress never anticipated such an application of the statute. They argue the time he served has been punishment enough, especially serving time at NBC Brooklyn. His team argued the mogul is routinely subjected to violence, both directed at him and at others. They point one example from less than 2 weeks ago, writing, on September 12th, for example, defense counsel was in the middle of a legal video call with Mr. Combs, which was summarily ended at 2 p.m. because of a stabbing that locked the facility down for the next several days. Living conditions at NBC remain inhumane, lockdowns remain common, and other conditions are similarly horrible. There are 10 different examples listed of what Diddy's life truly has been like behind bars, a far cry from his life of luxury, including constant suicide watch. This means that every 10 hours, Mr. Combs must present his identification card to the guards to show that he is alive and well. Limited access to clean water. Mr. Combs often heats his water to have clean water to drink without getting sick. Sleeping in a dorm-style room with a from other inmates with the bathroom in the same room with no door. Mr. Combs has not breathed fresh air in nearly 13 months or felt sunlight on his skin, often walking with a limp due to a painful knee injury that requires surgery that he has not received.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Many people are wondering, I'm going to just give you guys an update court hearing. Many people are wondering if the judge is going to make a decision today or not on what his decision is. I'm just giving you guys an update court hearing. The judge has not yet made a decision. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
That requires surgery that he has not received in federal custody. Lack of access to healthy or edible food, which is essential to pre-diabetics. The food that Mr. Combs has survived on includes expired processed pork, chicken, and beef, which on any given day can contain maggots. Lack of physical exercise with weights or any proper equipment. No physical therapy for his several shoulder and knee injuries. No functioning washing machine/dryers, and extreme temperatures, freezing cold or burning hot. Now, after his trial and the dozens of lawsuits he faces, his lawyers argue that his legacy has been destroyed, stating, due to adverse publicity and the allegations which the jury rejected, he faces nearly 100 lawsuits, most of which have been filed by individuals he has never met before, all of which contain made-up claims by individuals seeking to profit from Mr. Combs' downfall. Unfortunately, these lawsuits have involved his family, with his 84-year-old mother being sued in several states by individuals and his sons also being sued alongside Mr. Combs. They go on to write, as bad as life is inside of NBC, Mr. Combs has suffered countless other losses. Since his incarceration and conviction on the Mann Act, these and other collateral consequences to his life have been personally devastating. He has been separated from his family, has mounting legal bills from the indictment and defending lawsuits that were the direct result of the United States Attorney Damian Williams' prejudicial press conference announcing this case, and has lived in MDC for over a year, despite having every intention on fighting this case from day one. His defense attorneys cite other instances where his life has been systematically dismantled. For example, after Cassie's lawsuit and the lawsuits after, his companies were unable to operate as they once were, and he had to let go of over 1,000 employees. Some employees, according to the document, were unable to get new employment because of their past association with the mogul. His federal cases also had devastating consequences for his children. They were canceled and lost business opportunities. The family's Hulu show was canceled after Cassie's lawsuit. He was removed from the boards of 3 charter schools he created. He was stripped of his honorary doctorate degree from Howard University. He was forced to return the key to the city of New York. He had to step down from his TV network, Revolt, which, according to the filing, was one of 2 black TV networks in the United States. So in all, the defense is hoping the judge sentences him to a 14-month sentence, meaning if the judge sides with him, it's likely he could be out of jail before the holidays. As of this recording, though, prosecutors haven't submitted their recommendations for his sentencing, but they previously said that he has an extreme history of violence, and that the attempts to minimize his conduct show he's still very dangerous. That was a lot, right? A lot of legalese, a lot of pages to go through. So let's break it down further with none other than criminal defense attorney Salva Robinson Ferrer. Salva, always great to see you, and thanks so much for joining me. Let's take a little step back. It's almost sentencing time for Diddy. He needs support. The defense sent a bunch of letters, some including from Miami, Dallas, Austin, Jay, mothers of his daughters, Love and Chance, his mom, his sister, all of his kids, minus the youngest one. But what did you make of the letters of support?
Not surprised to see letters of support here.
I'm listening to what's going on in regards to the hearing. People they're waiting on the judge to make the decision. The mother was leaving the courthouse, so maybe they gave them a time and when they're supposed to come back. So the judge needs time to make a decision.
It's actually pretty typical as sentencing is about to commence, or shortly, at least 2 years before the sentencing commences. And a lot of times, defendants and clients will submit letters that are on family members and loved ones, giving a clearer picture to the judge as to who this person is generally, or who this person is and what they mean to their family and their loved ones. And that's a part of what we call a mitigation or sentencing memorandum that goes to the court in order to get a lesser sentence, or to give the judge an idea of, this is a good guy, mistakes happen or bad things happen, but he's been reformed or rehabilitated, and we as his family need him back.
Are you surprised more famous faces didn't come front and center to possibly also voice their support in favor of Diddy? I was surprised to only kind of see really the 3 standout names being Dallas, Austin, Young Miami, and Stevie J, at least to me. But are you surprised other famous faces didn't also voice their support through letters, like maybe Ye, who attended the court that one day?
I'm actually not too surprised that we haven't heard more from some of the other celebrities, because I think that anybody with a pretty sound PR team is going to tell them to stay far away from this and to not give any opinions of it. I am kind of surprised that we haven't heard anything from Ye, but that's his prerogative. Of course, he has shown his support throughout the trial, and anybody who is willing and wants to support Mr. Combs through the sentencing phase and provide a memorandum or a letter, then they're able to do that. But I think, considering what the defense has provided to the court, there have been significant amounts of letters and things of that nature that the judge can go off of to get another side of Mr. Combs, maybe different from what the judge has heard at trial.
Do you think any of the letters kind of swayed maybe even your opinion in terms of what we heard at trial versus kind of the aftermath, even before the trial began, that made you change your opinion?
Okay, so the bailiff comes in, tells everyone stay seated. I don't think they were able to get Diddy the clothes he wanted. I think he was in the prison uniform.
In any type of way, I kind of felt like everything just felt kind of repetitive a little bit.
I think the most captivating letter that I got a chance to view was his mother's, and she makes a very good point. She's an 85-year-old woman, or in her mid-80s. She doesn't know how much time she has left on this earth. And so one of the things that I think is important and what really spoke to me and will probably speak to the judge is wanting the ability to spend the end of her life with her, granting them the...
For sure. He was in his prison outfit. Hold on. Let me just do the update on this side. Give me a second. Like the videos you guys come in. Some of this stuff I had heard, but let me just go ahead and play it on this side. Like the videos you guys come in. Like the videos you guys come in. Hold on 1 second. Let's get the court hearing update.
People out there who are like, oh, he has all this money, he has all this whatever. I can tell you.
Shout out to Trending Out Loud.
Sean and Diddy Combs is not getting any special treatment at all. This guy looks dingy, okay? He is definitely in a suffering state, okay?
So prison clothes is the first time I've ever seen them like that. And by the way, this is actually normal because when you are going through a trial, the jury is supposed to see you as their peer. So they allow you to come. That's why whenever you see somebody who is a prisoner or they're not allowed bail, the jury is not allowed to see them in handcuffs. They're not allowed in prison uniform because if they see them like that, it's almost like a negative impression, like they already look guilty. So the jury, by law, always gets to see you as if like you were their peer as one of them. But now that there is no jury there is no need to give him an opportunity to dress nice. Like I said earlier, he's a prisoner. He came in shackled, and I heard the same thing that I heard every time before they bring him in. You hear the door kind of crack, the U.S. Marshal comes out, and then you hear, and the chains drop. Like Diddy is a prisoner. Okay, so I described it V-neck. It looked like hospital gear. Everybody. Also, he as he walked out, he looked very happy to see everybody. Very happy, although he didn't look like he was. He looked like how he felt. But then when he turned the corner and then he saw everybody sitting there, and then the first three rows it's all his family, and then we are behind. But the first three rows are, like I told you, all his family. His eyes lit up. He said hi to everybody, waved. He waved hi to us, and even on the other side too, nodded, waved. This is peace signs. So everybody's here. The judge walks in. They asked the prosecution to say who's ever here for the prosecution. Christy Slavic, sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. So important, Christy Slavic is Maureen Comey is not there. The lead prosecutor, what's his name? Comey, the former FBI director's daughter. Comey, who convicted Giselle Maxwell, has been fired. She is not there. You can feel her presence not being there. You can definitely feel that in the room. So Christy Slavic was the one to be the lead prosecutor. The judge says good morning everybody and says good morning Mr. Combs. Diddy says good morning Your Honor. In the 2 months that I have been in this courtroom, maybe 5 or 6 feet away from him, well, no, maybe like 10 feet away from Diddy, we've heard him speak twice. Obviously not allowed to speak until the judge asks him, and it's when to enter in your plea of not guilty. And then I think at before the jury, he asked him something. This is the third time in the courtroom that we heard Diddy speak. He said, "Good morning, sir." He said, "Good morning, Mr. Combs." Diddy said, "Good morning, Your Honor." All right, so now the judge has his question. So give me a little bit of grace here because there was.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Just giving you guys an update of what's happening at the hearing. This is what I've been listening to for most of the morning. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Check out Trending Out Loud.
4 or 5 questions, but he let the lawyers and the government, Diddy's lawyers and the government, kind of bounce around and answer his question. So it is going to be a little bit confusing because even he one time said, "Guys, can we just stick and follow one question at a time?" So I'm going to try my best. And they're talking very fast and they're talking in a lot of legal, language. So I'll do my best to go over my notes. Normally, sometimes I kind of go over them before I go live. But because this is so breaking, I wanted to just come at you guys right away. So just give me grace, okay? So the first point of question was about when Diddy's team decided to implement Rule 29. There's also Rule 12 and Rule 30. This was a little bit complex here, where they're saying that in the way in which they did it was not fair because they should have done it at a certain point. And the government is going to say it almost gives them a second bite at the apple, and they don't think it's fair. By the way, I see a lot going on in the chat. I will answer all the questions at the end. Just let me get through all of my notes, and then I'll stay on and answer all of your questions. The same thing I did yesterday and today. All right. So let me get through. I'll tell you guys everything, and then I'll stay on as long as you guys want. I'm going to stay here until at least 5 or 6 o'clock, just chilling. So I got you. Okay. I see a lot of questions coming in. As they're talking about Rule 29, Rule 12, and Rule 30, Diddy's mom walks in, Charlucci walks in, Quincy walks in, and Justin walks in, and Kim Combs walks in. They came a little late. I particularly just want to highlight that. Again, maybe some people might not report that, but I think it's important. Your father's life is on the line here right now, and I think that you should be there before the judge comes in. I don't think you should allow the judge to see you just walking in. The whole point of, let him out. The kids need him. This is a family. I would prefer to see, like how his brother-in-law and his sister, whatever, you're there before the judge. It shows a certain respect for the court. They're his family, so of course they can walk in at anytime they want, right? Sorry, it's starting to rain a little bit more heavy. Please don't laugh at my blue umbrella. It's the only thing I could find quickly. I didn't even know it was going to rain, but I got to protect my bag and my phone. Okay, so they're going back and forth, and basically the government is literally just trying to say, look, the way how they're going about bringing this Rule 29, the time that they did it, saying that it's a constitutional right to do everything, they're saying the timing is what they didn't like, and they're feeling like it's getting a second bite at the apple. While they're negotiating and talking, or I shouldn't say negotiating, but while they're deliberating over Rule 29, then the prosecution brings in the conversation about the definition of prostitution, and that's when the judge was like, let's just stick one thing at a time. So I think kind of like the Rule 29 and the timing kind of got brushed aside, and they jumped over to one of the other questions. But I
like the video, fair use reaction clip. Don't forget, we're listening to Trending Out Loud. He's outside the courtroom. Check him out. Go subscribe. Let him know Let's Talk About It Media 21 sent you.
I guess it's because it was more important. And I think that's what once I describe everything to you guys, I really want to know what you think, okay? So pay attention. The Mann Act, violation of the Mann Act, there are two things. There needs to be an SEX exchange, right? And there also needs to be a financial gain. So, for example, under the Mann Act, it's transporting somebody across state lines for commercial and financial gain. And there also needs to be a financial exchange, just money exchanging. We're going to get into this, for example. So basically, it's PIMPA, right? That's really what the law says. If you break it down, it's like literally somebody who has a ring of girls, they're transporting them, and they're doing this as a commercial activity for financial gain, and there is financial exchange, okay? Now, let me break it down why they don't think that definition applies to Diddy, okay? So, one, this can apply. This cannot apply to Diddy. And then, as soon as they start talking, the judge interrupts and says, the judge replies and says, his intent were for his girls to exchange SEX for money, yes or no? Doesn't that make him guilty? If it's simply across state lines and his girlfriends had SEX with these escorts, doesn't that fulfill at least one? Was there an exchange of money for SEX? Now, Shapiro says, no, Your Honor, and she says clearly, no. She said, what Diddy did was Diddy was paying these men to watch as a person, the same way how a person would be sitting in one of these booths. You know, a couple of those places that you could set up and you could go and you sit down in a booth and the screen opens and you're sitting down and you're watching somebody dance or get undressed. His defense team, Alexander Shapiro, is trying to say he is a voyeur. Never mind Cassie and never mind Jane. They slept with the escorts, not Diddy. And again, I know, just to remind you guys, I know you hear a lot of things online and this or whatever in the civil cases. We have to deal with the facts and the testimony. That's what the judge is only going to deal with. And they are saying that they're saying, Judge, tell me where at any time any of these escorts saying that they had SEX with Diddy. Nobody did. He was a voyeur. There is no different than somebody in New York City downtown that will go to I think they call it a peep show. What's up, brother? I appreciate you, man. Thank you. New York shows me love. Yeah, well, you can get online and follow it.
We're listening to Trending Out Loud. Do y'all remember when Cassie asked if a girl could be added? And he said, why would we do that? Y'all remember when Cassie said, why don't we add a girl? And he said, why would we do that? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Now you can sit down and be a live guest of it, man. Where was I now? Yeah, so he's saying that he is a voyeur, no difference than somebody that's sitting down and watching at a booth. Now, the transportation part, is, hold on here. The transportation is where that he wanted sex. Oh, sorry, SEX. Okay, here, this is it. So the transportation part, so that is the SEX part. It's like he didn't do anything and it was a voyeur. Now, the transportation part is that he was transporting them, yes, but not to have SEX. He was transporting them because he wanted to watch. So Diddy's defense is A, he wanted to watch and be a voyeur. Now, a number of states have laws that do not allow prostitution, but there was a case in Georgia that there was a house that they found a bunch of people in, and in this house in Georgia, they brought them to court, and they weren't able to prove that in this house where there were women and men that were going there, it was basically a strip club, okay? They weren't able to prove that there was any sex going on at that house, so that case was dropped. So whenever there's a trial like this, you have case study. So they brought this case study that happened in Georgia, which is somebody like Diddy who is transporting or having these people here, and that is not a violation of the Mann Act because Diddy didn't actually have sex with any of these guys. He's sitting down and being a voyeur. So that's part one. And they're also going to go into him filming it, but like I said, they jumped around a little. So the next thing is, what I told you guys this morning, they're talking about the word prostitution. Now, the word prostitution in 1910 was very different than it is in 2025. We talked about that today. So in 1946, they changed around the word prostitution, the court system, to mean sex for hire, meaning that you're hiring somebody to have sex for them. Then, in 1986, they changed parts of the law as well too to say that it does not have to be for commercial use. It does not have to be for commercial use. It could be for private use. That's another one of Diddy's defense team's argument is that under the Mann Act, it should be for commercial use. Like I said, somebody who's PIMPing where you have a bunch of girls. It's not a violation of the Mann Act, according to Diddy's team, if you're doing it as one person and you're doing it for your girl in a private home. This is not commercial. There's a financial transaction, but he's not doing this for profit. The Mann Act is for commercial profit. You're transporting a person over state lines for a commercial use. There is nobody in this world that thinks Diddy was doing that to make money. He's a billionaire. Diddy was doing that to get his rocks off, right? We can all attest to that, right? So in 1986, they changed prostitution, and it didn't have to be commercial use, and that is what we know as prostitution today. But Diddy's defense team is saying the Mann Act was created in 1910. So which definition should we use? Should we use the old definition, or should we use the new definition? The government had their argument. Diddy's team had their argument. Again, that will be something the judge will decide. He can decide it any minute now, or he can decide it literally any time before sentencing. Okay. Again, here the Mann Act requires financial motive. The judge asked, did he have any financial motive? No. Now it was the prosecution's turn to argue this fact. The prosecution said, just because he wasn't involved in sex, we do not care, Your Honor. We as the government do not care if he was actually involved because he transported a prostitute with the intent. And this is where I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. If the Mann Act is you're transporting somebody to have sex, is it enough to have intent? If you intended to, is that guilty? Should you spend 5 years in jail because you intended to, but then your girlfriend did? Some would ask, well, why isn't Cassie here? Because she was the one who was actually committing the act, right? Again, this is just the prosecution's argument. It will be up to the judge to decide who is right or who is wrong. That I'm going to look in the comment section after that. So they're saying, we don't care. He's sitting down being a voyeur. His intent was to transport these guys, transport Cassie, transport Jane sometimes for sex. They don't care what happens. That is what should be allowed under the law today. Not only that, he funded it. The girls handed over his money. That's where I feel like I agree with the prosecution. Like you guys know, I'm super fair. Like just because Cassie was the one.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, you guys. Please hit subscribe. We're giving you breaking news of what's happening in the courtroom right now. This is the only person I'm listening to this today. So fair use reaction clip.
Actually gave the money. We know it wasn't Cassie's money, and we know it was Diddy's money. So Diddy is the person that had Diddy was the person who was actually paying the escorts. But again, like I said, the Mann Act, from my interpretation, from what I learned today, I knew before, but it was even more defined today, is that where was the financial gain? Was Diddy transporting these people and it cost them, for example, $500, but at the end of the day, he made 10 G's? Did he make money? And some of you out there might be business people. It's an investment. What was Diddy's return? Tell me, what was Diddy's return on investment? There was none. Diddy was doing this for his own personal gain. Wow, you just did that right now? Yo, I have some people here. Can I show it? Just come here, come here. Really? Come here. Yo, hold on, you just did this right now, or this is from before? Wow, yo, somebody just did a drawing on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. I love being in that company. She's done sketches of Barack Obama. Everybody, you adore me. Yo, can I show it to them so they can see? Hold on, guys. I don't know if you want to be on camera, you can. Guys, look at this. Look at this. Yo, this is me here last time during the court coverage. I remember wearing this is a pillow. This is my mic that I have here. Yo, and the courtroom in the back. Yo, this is correct. Come and give me. Hold on one second, guys. Wow, you're amazing. Yo, this is so beautiful. Oh, do you want to come on camera, or are you shy? Just go and plug your work. Where can they find you? Just go right here. Come right here. Oh, hold on, talk to the mic right here.
My name is Minerva, and if you're interested in my work, my website is mindofminerva.com. I'm an out louder. Bye, guys.
Yo, I love you so much, man. Yo, this is, yeah, please. Yo, you are amazing. Thank
Like the
you
video,
so
like the video,
much,
fair
man.
use.
Wow. I'm gonna get like a little emotional here now. Wow, that is crazy. I don't even know where I am. Everybody's like so beautiful. Yo, what a beautiful drawing. And it's so well done. Oh my gosh, man. Okay, you have to give me your contact information. Like I gotta wow.
Like I said, we're listening to Trending Out Loud. Go subscribe to his page. He is not for him, and I have different opinions, but he has great coverage. He's a podcast. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
This is amazing. Wow. Yo, Out Louders unite. Yo, this is crazy. Exactly. Wow. And she started this 2 days ago. Wow. Yo, this is getting me. This is crazy. Yo, wow. I'm gonna give this to my mom. She is going to bawl. She is going to cry forever. Yo, that is really crazy. My mom's probably watching me right now. People are like, yo, this is amazing. This is amazing. Wow. Really? Well, make sure.
And he cute too. He cute. So if you need, to listen to a podcast, good looking African American guy, yeah. Always nice, clean cut, nice glasses, nice outfit, yeah. So there's that. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
I'll check her out, man. Make sure to check her out. This is amazing. She does drawings for Barack Obama, the Clintons, everybody. Like, this is crazy, man. And Out Louders Unite, man. This is really, really nice. Thank you. I don't even know if I should get back going. Yeah. All right. Okay, where was I? Okay, so Diddy funded it. So what I was saying, to be fair, we all know this was Diddy's money. Again, I question, did he have any financial gain? Okay. So hold on. So they were saying that Diddy's girls arrange flights, they arrange cars, they arrange Ubers, they arrange transportation. I don't think anybody could deny that. Did Diddy and his team, Cassie, all those people, his assistants, did they arrange the transportation of these escorts? Yes, they did. Did he arrange and fly Cassie and Jane? Of course he did. But we ask again, now that we know the full definition, was this for profit? Was this for financial and commercial gain? That is what the Mann Act is supposed to do. Okay, let me go to the next thing here. So now they jump to question 4. This is really where it gets interesting. Listen to this. So I think this is either the prosecution says Diddy did not film every single freak off. And let me tell you why she brought that up. Because she knows that Diddy's team is going to say he is just an amateur PORNer. Hey, there's a lot of people right now that are making movies, paying people.
Okay, you guys, I will be back. Very important situation I have to take care of. Like the video. Don't forget to hit subscribe. As I'm at my location, I will continue to listen. so then that way I can bring you guys general update of what's going on. But if you need some information on what's going on regarding the trial, go over to Trending Out Loud. He's currently live. Let him know. Let's talk about it, media people. I sent you over there so that way he knows about us. But yeah, I have to take care of some business. Thanks for tuning in. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. For purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, scholarships, and research, fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. Like, comment, and subscribe. You guys, I will be back after I take care of everything I have to take care of. It's been a busy 3 months. But I'm working it out. Thank you guys for being here. Life be lifing. Family first. Have a great day. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Goodbye. Be blessed.
No, I'm going to be here for like an hour, so I'm going to put it right here.